fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Transformers Studio Series number 70, Deluxe Class B-127. So this is Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie before he went to Earth and took on his Earth-based alt modes. So the kind of funny thing about this mold, they took the Jeep Bumblebee mold from the kind of 2 minutes he's a Jeep in the very beginning of the movie, turned that into a Cybertronian version of Cliffjumper, and then turned it back into Bumblebee. So this has kind of come full circle here. Started as Bumblebee, got a heavy retooling to become Cliffjumper, then a repaint to come back into Bumblebee. But it is kind of fun. This is B-127, as you can see down here. So before he was given the name Bumblebee by his human partner. But you can see the picture over here on the side. Over here on this side, similar artwork. Not really too much going on the top or bottom. And then if we spin around to the back, you can see we have the robot mode and the vehicle mode, very, very similar to the vehicle mode for Cliffjumper. And he also comes with a little display stand down here, so shouldn't be too many surprises with this one, but we'll go ahead, we'll get it out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Here is the backdrop that he comes with. You can see we have a Cybertron backdrop. He looks pretty cool. He does look a little small in this backdrop, I will have to admit, just kind of a smaller figure, but it is pretty neat backdrop, and I wanted to show that off real quick. So here is Bumblebee out of the packaging, and he looks pretty cool. I do like this form. He's got a bit of a backpack here, and there's a little something wonky with the legs, though they don't really peg in as nicely as I'd like them to, so anytime you try to move them, really you're just kind of moving all these pieces here. Like these are supposed to peg in on the side, and they kind of do, but it doesn't stay as well as you'd like. This piece here kind of can move around a little bit, so trying to utilize the knee articulation sometimes can shift a lot of the pieces in the shin area here, just kind of all over the place, which is a bit of a bummer. But for the most part, I think he looks good. I really like the head sculpt. Simple, but I think it looks very, very cool, very Bee-like. Got an Autobot symbol there. He's got the fake pieces of the car here on his chest. These just kind of fold up into the body later on. This is not actually part of the car mode. It's just kind of a fake chest plate there for aesthetic purposes. He's got the hand cannon here that kind of pegs into the fist, so that it kind of seamlessly looks like it's integrated into his arm. I do really like how they do that. I think that's a cool accessory. Gonna go ahead and take this out of his hand here, though, which is a little bit easier said than done. There we go. Now, the directions show something about putting it in the back here, and I can't really tell if they want me to kind of peg it into this loose area right here, but it does just kind of like wedge in here, and it can kind of be stored there. It doesn't look great, but it kind of can, and it doesn't really fall out, so you can kind of wedge it back there. For now, I'm just going to put it off to the side. Now, for head articulation, we have a side-to-side swivel, and then he does have a hinge here, kind of at the back. It's mostly for the transformation, but you can get some movement up and down there, and of course the side-to-side. You have a ball joint here in the shoulder. You have a 90-degree bend in the elbow, as well as a bicep swivel, but there's nothing in the wrists. The forearm is all kind of one solid piece into the fist. We do have a waist swivel there. You have a ball joint here in the hip. You have a thigh swivel. You have 90 degrees in the knee. And then you do have some ankle movement here. So there's a hinge up here, so that piece can move. And then there's a ball joint in the actual foot. So kind of a two points of articulation here in the ankle. So you can get some nice poses like that, which is really nice. But yeah, overall, I think he looks good. I think the details are there. I think the color scheme looks good. Like I said, he's got a bit of a backpack, but it folds up pretty well. And you have some wheels back here, but it all adds to the aesthetic, and I don't really think it hinders articulation at all, which is really nice. So yeah, overall, I think he's a pretty good-looking figure. He's definitely on the smaller side, though, as far as deluxes go. If I can get him to stand here for a minute, and I'll pan out a little bit. And here is Shattered Glass Blur. Just to kind of give you an idea, he's definitely on the smaller side when it comes to deluxes, but still pretty good. So let's go ahead and let's get into the transformation. Alright, so for first step of the transformation, we're going to go ahead and bring forward this whole chest section. And you don't want to pull right here. You need to get back in this section here. So this whole piece here is going to pop out and then just kind of fold down for now. You're going to straighten the head back like this, straight up like that. You have to unpeg this section. You can see that the whole backpack is kind of pegged in right there with these two pieces into those two peg holes, so you want to unpeg that. And then you want to kind of bring these pieces a little forward, not all the way just yet, but just a little bit to kind of make a cavity there for the head to flip around and sink into just like so. Then you're going to take the arms, you're going to spin them at the bicep swivel 90 degrees. Like so, so that these little tabs are facing to the inside. You're going to fold this piece out. These pieces I talked about earlier are going to fold inward. Just like that. Then this whole piece is going to come up. There are two tiny little tab spots right here and right here, and that's where these tabs are going to tab into. So this is going to swing around and then tab in there, and this will swing around and tab in there. So you can see we kind of have the back of the car fairly well constructed at this point. We're going to take the legs and just kind of have them straight down. These panels here, if you do have them pegged in still, you want to make sure that you unpeg that. And then this is going to swivel up on this hinge right here, and then it's going to peg straight down into the side of the car. So this comes down, and this pegs in like so. If I can get this to line up. There we go. So we're going to do the same thing over here. If it's pegged in, make sure it's unpegged. Then this will swivel around and come down and peg into the side like so. And sometimes getting all the panels to line up is a bit of a pain, but it can get a little bit easier as things start to shore up and all fit together. So we're going to flip the wheel towards the inside, and then this whole piece will then swivel around and click into place. So do the same thing, flip the wheel to the inside, then this whole piece swivels around. So you can see that the shins really just kind of become the sides of the car, really the whole like calf pieces. Then you're going to peg these together and then bring this kind of up, and this will peg in here and here. So you can see we pretty much have the entire car done at this point, with the exception of the entire roof and hood, and that's because this is going to just accordion out. So this will pop up, and then you just bring this down, and everything just kind of sits in. Now this can kind of be surprisingly difficult because there's a lot of tabs and panels that all need to kind of clear and click into place, but you want to just bring this down, peg everything in, and if these come unpopped, which they tend to do for me quite a bit, just make sure you get everything all pegged in. So here is B-127 in his Cybertronian Vehicle mode. Very cool. As far as I remember, it is exactly the same as Cliffjumper. Unfortunately, I don't have him available to compare. But I like it. It's very sleek. Rolls very nice. You do have some weapon storage under here. There are two little pegs that you can peg that onto right in there. And that stores very nicely, so I appreciate the weapon storage. But yeah, simplistic little vehicle mode, but I like it. Unfortunately, I just noticed mine has kind of a smudge of paint there on the back. I'll have to do something about that. But yeah, for the most part, pretty simple, but I think it works. You don't have too much in terms of like different shades of yellow. A little bit here on the side looks a little bit lighter to everything else, but for the most part, I think they did a pretty good job of matching the yellows. They're not always the best with that, but I think this one works. I like it. I think B-127 is pretty fun. If you like the Cliffjumper mold, it's the exact same thing, now just done in yellow. But I like the head sculpt, I like the molded in detail, I like the paint applications. I think the Cybertronian alt mode is a lot of fun, and the transformation is not too difficult, not too simple, kind of right there in the sweet spot. So I definitely recommend picking him up if he's still around. He is a little bit older at this point, but you could probably find him somewhere online if you're still looking to pick this guy up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.